This conference will now be recorded.
Audible, right? So what are the things we covered? We covered component, application, and CSS in component. How to use CSS? Right. And you need a domain, right? You need a domain to either implement your Lightning application. Okay. And application is a container for component to preview. It's a container to preview the components. And we also seen some basic CSS in yesterday. And how many ways you can implement CSS, access CSS in your component? How many ways, different ways you can access CSS in component? Yes, inline CSS, and with help of style tag as part of your bundle, component bundle or application bundle, and as external file. So basically, you have to store the file as a static resource. Then you can refer in your uh, component with the help of tag, isn't it? Right. So uh, what is the next a component name? This is actually a namespace, but what is the component name? Anybody? Yeah, what is the component name you'll use next to LTNG? Let me open the developer console. Okay, so this is CSS example, and so this example is to uh, use the CSS from style tab. Example two, we discussed to implement CSS tab, a CSS element from static resource. Okay, right, like this. And now we need to see what is attributes. So what is attribute in a component? Right. Attributes are like variables in a class. It is like members in a class. So what is the use of a variables in a class? What is the use of variables in a class? Suppose I have a class, then I have uh, variables like name, isn't it? And like this, I have two variables. Then what is the use of these variables? This is used to store the data, right? Temporarily, when you create an object, you can use this data in this variable. Similarly, every component we have, suppose you take the component input text in the classic, right? So what are the attributes we have? We have value attribute, we have ID, isn't it? So this is a standard component, isn't it? This is a standard component. So we create our own custom component. For example, as we have seen the components like CSS example 2. So this is my component, right? CSS example 2. So this is my component. Now we are going to create attribute for this component. So this is a standard component. So we have attributes like value, ID, right? On click. So you have many attributes for this component. This is a standard component. So what about this? This is again a component. Belongs to your Lightning framework. So it's a standard custom component in your Lightning framework. Got me? So custom component Lightning framework. And if you have a component, then you can also have attributes, right? Then how to create attributes? Attributes we are going to create with the help of a tag called aura colon attribute. And what is the use of attribute? Attribute is going to behave like a member in a class. So you are going to use attribute to store the data in your client side controller. It's used to store data in your client side controller. Hope you remember in your Lightning framework we had a JavaScript, right? We had a JavaScript, and in JavaScript we store the data. JavaScript can also store the data temporarily. Your client side controller, JS. Got me? So in your from your HTML, based on some event, you trigger, you call some method in the JS controller, and JS controller with the help of attributes, you can store the data temporarily. You can store the data temporarily, right? So data can be stored in the JS client side with help of attributes. So that's what you're going to see now. Got me? So attributes is going to behave like a member in a class. And attributes, right? You need to understand attribute is nothing but, that's going to be a property we are going to add here. Suppose I'm going to create a attribute called name. Then now I'm going to create attribute type. So what is the type of value the attribute is going to have? String. And what is the name of the attribute? Name equal to name. So to avoid confusion, I make it as uh, employee name. Then I would say name. Able to follow this, all of you? Able to visualize? You're able to understand what is the how we what is the use of attribute? What it is exactly? Attributes is going to store data temporarily uh, in your Lightning framework, in your JavaScript client side controller. Okay, and attributes you can compare like it's like a member of the class. It's not exactly the member, it cannot exactly compare with your class concept, but to better understand, I'm just giving this example. It's like a member in a class, right? So we have created a component like what we have in your classic and what we have in your uh, so it's a standard component, right? Application is a standard component. So what are the attributes we have? We have controller to refer the, isn't it? And again, aura colon component is again another standard component, isn't it? So like that, it has additional attributes like access, Isn't it? There are many attributes we have. Now we just had a glance, like a template, isn't it? Extensible, extensions, extends to refer the interface. Like that, this component has different attributes. Similarly, for our custom component, we are going to create a attributes. The attributes used to store the data temporarily in your client side control. Okay, am I clear? Shall I proceed? So what are the attributes we have? You know, so this component itself have attributes, right? To define, to create an attribute, these are tag we are going to use. And what are the attributes? This attribute tag has type, name. So these two are mandatorily you have to you have to give. So what are the other attributes we have? So these are the attributes we have. So for name and type are required. Name and type are required. For me, able to follow this? And so the type, what we have taken example is just a string. What are the other possible values in your for the type attribute? You see here, we can create a date type of variable, date time, decimal, double, integer, long, string. That's what you have seen. String, boolean, okay, boolean, and we also have other attributes also supported, like 1 minute. So like uh, long, boolean, and other types like collection type. These are all primitive type, right? Whatever we given here, these are all primitive type. So they also support collection types as well. The type of the variable that you are going to attribute that you're going to create in your component or application can be of generic type or type equal to string, type equal to decimal. Like that, we also have a type like array, list, map, set. Got me? So, and we haven't discussed about that. We're just discussing about the tag only. We'll implement, no, then we'll discuss uh, those types. But we are not implementing it. We are just discussing the details. So we can say this is a primitive or basic type, and we have object type as well. Right? Object type will take the possible value as object. Okay. So what is actually what I'm trying to say here? Type equal to something like this. Good. Name equal to say ACC and type equal to object. Okay. And it's going to store in JSON format, object type, right? JSON format. So you can use this variable to store any type of value. It's a generic type object. It's a generic type object. You can use this to store any type of value. Okay. If you see the lightning ARA component gate, you will come to know, the supported ARA attribute types. And you'll see here, these are the possible attributes for this component and basic types. What are the possible values for the type attribute? Right? Date, decimal, integer, string. I think we have. Okay, so this is nothing but basic type. Okay. In addition to that, it also support collection type as well. See here, object type we have, collection type we have. Okay, so You go to collection type. The collection type you see here, array. Array nothing but like this you will declare, like this. Okay, if you take a collection type, it can be like this. Name of the attribute and type, open and close bracket. Similarly for your list type, right? Say like a list. That's it. Okay, I'd say like a list. You see here, list and array both are one and both are same, right? In terms of storing the element, isn't it? So like this, and the map will have this format. Anyway, we'll get into these details later. Got me? So I just move on. How to declare a variable attributes in a component and object type. So object type is that what we discussed. Got me? Object type, and it's going to store the data in JSON format, I believe. Right. So we'll move on to how to declare an attributes. Okay, let's create one component, lightning component. I'd say attribute example one. Right. All of you able to follow this, right? It should not be blank and learn the things. Okay, you able to understand why we are using attribute, right? So the naming conventions like how will you declare a variable? You'll have a camel case, start with small letters and you can mix like this in camel case, lowercase camel. Okay, so make it as decimal. String and something like this. So this is how you declare the attributes. Okay, so I declare the attributes now. Then how can I uh, read the attributes? Or else how can I, first thing we'll see, how can I assign a value to this attribute? Got me? My question is, we declare the variable in a class, like I told you, attributes like a member in a class. So I declare the members. So now, how can I refer these variables? How can I refer these variables? You can refer these variables. Just trying to add a comment. Yeah. How to refer the attributes. So we are going to refer the member of a class. How to refer a member of a class in your Visual Classic application from Apex? No. How you are referring a member of a class in your UI in Apex? Suppose I have variable like employee. How you are going to refer in your Visual Force page? With the expression format, right? Isn't it? With the expression format, employee name. Am I right? Like this. Okay. Everyone is agree with this? Everyone is agree here? That's how you'll refer variables from your uh, Apex in your classic application, right? I hope all of you agree with this. But here, what I'm going to do, we are going to add one more a qualifier, one more a provider called a value provider. It's called value provider. In the case of Lightning framework, we are going to specify the attribute in your UI prefixed with a property called value provider V. So V dot city, V dot salary, V dot employee name. You able to follow this? You able to follow this? All of you clear? So in addition to your regular expression syntax, how you are going to refer a variable in your classic, here in Lightning framework, we are going to specify a property called value provider before the attribute name. V dot emp name, V dot city, V dot salary, or V dot phone numbers. You will follow this, all of you? Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. So let it be an example for to refer just to declare a variable. I will take another example to to see the declaration. So this example you just keep to refer how to refer the attribute, and this example just to see how to declare the variables. I just keep different examples. Later I'll upload into one notepad and upload in a chatter, or else you can refer from here as well. Right. So now the question is how we are going to assign a value to this variable. How we are going to assign a value to this variable? Okay. How we are going to assign a value to this variable? When you refer this, you're not going to see anything at all, right? Application. C colon. Generally, you have to use a small case to name the component. I used caps, which shouldn't be. And preview. I'm not going to say anything at all, isn't it? Right. So now we already discussed attributes is like we are creating this attribute, right? We are creating this attribute. So for our component, for my component, what are the attributes I created for my component? Okay, if you take our component example 2, right? For example 2, I created attributes like employee name, salary, city, phone number, right? So I'm referring this component. Then how I'm going to refer that attributes? Employee name. Able to follow this? Employee name. That's the name of the attribute, right? Then I give here some value. Then what is the attribute I'm looking for? City. Then how can I pass value to the city? City equal to. You're able to follow this? You're able to follow this? Now I preview this. Things are well. Everyone is clear here? That's what we created, right? We created attributes, and how to refer the attributes? We refer the attributes in this format, like v dot attributes name, v dot city. When you refer this component, then we have created attributes, and how to refer the attributes, how to pass a value to the attributes from the from the place where you call the component. From the place where you call the component, this is a calling statement, right? Like a calling statement, call the component or include the component. So when you refer the component, you can also pass value to the attributes like this. That's what we created, right? We created attributes, then attribute can be referred in the include in the component in this format. Okay, that's what we discussed here as well, right? So the component has attributes like controller, access, and all. So for our custom component, we created our own attribute. Then how can you refer this attribute in your component? Whatever the attributes you created, like that you have to refer. Got me? That's what we did. Are you clear, all of you? Are you clear? Everyone is clear? Everyone is clear here? Everyone else? Okay. Right. So no, I'm not speaking yet. Hold on. Good to refer now. Okay. So then you have to preview it and see, how it looks like. The output would be like uh, that is output, yeah, like this, right? So let me pass value for salary also. Then you will see output like right, like this. Right. So how to apply a CSS for this? How to apply a CSS for this? I'd like to apply a CSS. Then I go to my, I'm sorry. Yeah. Go to my style bundle. You can apply it three ways, three possible ways, but I go to the style tab. And I like to give Mm, Gray. Okay. I just give a background color as gray. So what I do, I make it as a, because there is no HTML element, right? So I just make it as division, and then do this. So it's gray, and I like to apply some color for this uh, text. You know, color to color the text, we have a property, CSS property, color and value. You can give any value which are applicable. It can be a text, or it can be a no the character, like alphanumeric characters. And right, and then now I say to apply a padding. So padding only at the top. Padding only at the top. So I say 50 px in pixel. So only at the top the padding is applied. To apply a padding to the left, you know, padding has four elements, right? Top, left, bottom, right side. So okay then. Just a quick you know example on CSS. Okay. So any questions here? Able to follow this, all of you? Able to follow this? Can you write down this? Right. Can you send me this code? Can I make it past all of you? You got my requirement. You got my requirement. Say yes or no, please. You got my requirement. Can you send me the code quickly? Yeah, please make it fast.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, any answer for this? Send me the code, man. Send me the code for this. Anyone? Anybody?
This conference will now be recorded.
Then when you will do this exercise 2, so how many components you are going to create here? Two components: product info, shipping detail. Okay, the product info will have attributes name, price, quantity. The shipping details will have attribute like a city, state, pin code, and display the attribute. And what are the values you are going to pass to the uh, attributes when you include this in application? For the component, when you have to pass name, laptop, and price. No, the number what is given here and quantity 3. Similarly, pass some value on your own for your city, state, pin code. So there are two components you will create, and you will include those two components from an application and apply some CSS for your component. Product info. So I would need a name, price, quantity. Then now we are going to refer this. Are we going to refer this? V dot name. V dot price. Okay. Similarly, shipping detail, another component. We have details like this, and I'd say put inside the division. Well, product info is put inside division. Can you apply a different CSS for this and implement in your application? And uh, once you're done, you can post your answers in the chatter tab. I'll share the credential for you to access the notes. In the developer console and the chatter. I will create one user as usual. I'll share with you. Okay. So you have to complete this. Apply a CSS for the component to a better look and feel, apply it and show it to me. Okay, I will see how many of you are able to implement a better CSS for this content. For me, how you are able to implement better CSS. I just given some basic implementation, isn't it? So attributes, and how we are going to refer the attributes. Then you have to now complete this with implementing an application call from application, this component, call this component from application and apply CSS on your own. Okay, so give a better look and feel and post your answers in the chatter tab. I'll share the credential later. Got me, all of you? It's clear? It's clear what I'm trying to say here? Okay, then. So we'll move on to um, attributes, and I would like to discuss a button. So how to include a button? So this component belongs to namespace lightning. Okay, so you will build your component with help of most of the namespace. Standard components belongs to lightning. Most of the component belongs to standard namespace lightning, and you'll have a RR tag as well, right? All the components belongs to RR namespace as well. Okay, so these are the frequently used, and mostly will use lightning colon button standard. Okay, so this component is used to add a button in the interface. Got me? It's used to add a button in the HTML page, right? So lightning button. I'll share the notes later. Let me walk through my uh, understanding. What are the attributes we have? We have important attributes. Um, yeah, label. Label is to give the label for the button. Label is to give the label for the button, and we have a title attribute. So title, when you keep the cursor over the button, then whatever the text you given here, that will appear. Got me? And uh, button can be you can add a look and feel for the button, right? A color for the button, and what is uh, the font, the color that needs to be, that the label needs to be appeared. So that's going to be, that can be given in the with help of different attributes like variant. Okay, variant decides what is the format of the button, which format the button has to look. Okay, so if you take, the button can be, feel like it will display like a green button, which means, I can use this button to say, something like a save. I can use this button to save. If I have a button like, with a look and feel in red, in this reddish background, then I would say this button is used to cancel the transaction. Got me? I would use this button to cancel the transaction. Like that, there's an attribute called variant is used to add a format for the button. What is the standard look and feel for the button? So what are the possible values for this? Base, it can be neutral, okay, it can be a brand, and destructive. So destructive, basically, if you give the variant value as destructive, then you will see the button will look in red background. Like that, we have a a variant like a success. Success will display the button in the green background. Got me? So that's the use of variant. The variant is used to specify the format for the button, and you can also add a icon for the button. If you check in your Lightning experience, you'll see an icon also for the button, right? For example, if you take your button download, so this is a button I'm going to specify the invoke the download, then I can have an icon like this, isn't it? I can have an icon like something like this. So this icon can be included in the button with help of attributes like icon name. Got me? So icon name decides what is the icon you would like to have for your button. Whether it's a download icon, or suppose you like to create an account, then account related, company related logo, I mean symbol. So those things you can also include along with the label. So you know how to bring this download text, how to bring this cancel text with the help of attributes called label, right? And how to add a look and feel for the button with the help of variant. Then how to bring a logo for your, the icon for your button with the help of icon name. So what is the possible value for this icon name? With the help of standard icon name provided in the library called Lightning Design System. In short, we called as LDS. How do you refer that? LDS. So this is basically a library of CSS elements, CSS and JavaScript. You can say, okay, CSS and JavaScript. Basically, it's like a bootstrap. How many of you aware of what is bootstrap? So bootstrap is a kind of a predefined CSS element, right? Which has a JS and CSS element all together, which will, you can refer this, include this library, and add a more look and feel for your HTML page. Instead of you write your own CSS element on your own, right? Instead, you can just refer this library, which is which is given for your Lightning application, and include that library so that you can refer all these variables from this library, so that you need not implement the properties of CSS on your own, isn't it? So I need to give a background and I need to add the image and all, right? But instead, if you have a LDS system included in your component, Lightning Design System, short form called as LDS, you'll see you can make your look and feel, implement look and feel CSS with very simpler approach. Got me? So to to implement this, to implement this in your component, you have to, in your application, you have to implement that interface. So we are going to include the library of library LDS. We are going to include the library LDS when you include the component. You are going to use implement the interface called. So how to implement the interface? With the extend attribute. So interface name is post colon SLDS. Okay, Salesforce Lightning Design System. So these are interface you have to implement. Then automatically you will see, all the Lightning Design System related parameters will be able to, resolve the parameters and add a look and feel whatever is defined by the system. You can get look and feel for your HTML page. Are you able to follow this? Are you clear? Are you clear, everyone? What is Lightning Design System? A design system is used to help, add a CSS, a look and feel for your page, and in addition to that, you will see more functionalities you can add to your UI with the help of the library called the lightning design system. So we are going to include this library with help of this attribute. Okay, so this interface which will able to refer a CSS element from this library. This is an interface used to refer a CSS element from this library. Okay, like this, there are different other interfaces which will have different functionality. Got me? Able to follow this, all of you? So shall we implement one example? You should respond yes or no. Able to follow this or not? Others, others, are you listening or are you here? Okay. I say like lightning colon button, isn't it? So I say label equal to button one, right? I say I'm going to prove this. See, you can also do this in your application also directly. Got me? You can do this in your application also directly. Instead of creating an component application, you can create a application and preview this all this directly in application also. But why you are doing this? Because this is a practice. You have to create a multiple components and use it wherever you need to use. That's the reusability model, right? So that in order to practice, those things I just going in this format. We have application, then we include the component. Okay. So now I preview this. You'll see here button is included. Okay. And what I said, what are the parameters we have? Sorry, attributes we have. We have attributes variant, one of the possible values for variant is this. Okay, one of the possible values for variant is this. What are other possible values like a neutral, brand, and all? Let's see how it looks like. Okay, I go here and preview. We don't see any difference, right? We don't see any difference. Why it is? Because we have to include the interface called Foursquare and SLDS. So let's go here. You have to include a SLDS library, isn't it? So this no, it's the simplest way you can. Right, you'll see here. So variant, uh, yeah, the base variant, basically the base variant, don't give a border for your button. Don't give a okay. Don't give a border for your button. So let's implement the other variant for your button. So in order to save time, I just go with the code. Yeah. So I have different variant: base, neutral, brand, destructive. And I have a variant called success. Okay. Right. Let's see. You got me? You got me, all of you? Everyone is clear? So what is the default variant then? Neutral is a default variant, isn't it? I don't give any variant for this button. So okay, and your neutral and button one looks same, right? Looks similar, which means default one is neutral. Okay, and if you give the variant as base, you don't see any border, and it's blue highlighted. If the variant is a brand, okay, if the variant is a brand, And if variant is inverse, then you don't see any. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, if you give a variant as inverse, then you see like this. When you keep the mouse over, then you'll see some text. I mean the label, and it's success variant. Okay, are you good with this, all of you? Are you good, everyone? Base like a button link. Base like a button link. No, it's Karthik. That's what. Should not join late. Okay, so variant base is just add a look and feel, right? With the help of variant, we are adding look and feel for the button. That's it. With the help of predefined library called SLDS. Okay, so what about icons? What about icons? So I said there are also attributes called icon name. Icon name is also attribute, right? Then how we are going to refer the standard icons like the down arrow for download button. Got me? So I have download button here, for example. I have a download button. Okay. So how to bring an icons for this button? So now I do not have any icons. Just a button appears here. Okay, how to bring a icon for this? Then I go to the lightning design system. Okay, it's a kind of URL you can see. It's a place where you can see all the predefined CSS components. Okay, so I just go here and locate for utilities. Else I locate for icon names. Okay, icons. So right, ready-made is CSS and HTML responsive element. Okay, so if you go here, there are different types of icons: standard, document type, custom, and action. I go to standard type. Okay, I go to standard type, and custom type, standard type. Okay, standard icons. To view all the available icons, right? I go to standard icons. I put this for your reference. Taking time. Okay, go to lightningdesignsystem.com and what happened here? Stop this. Switch. Icons. So this is a library. Okay, so I go to standard. I go to standard one, or else you scroll down, you will see the standard one over here as well. So if you see this name, no, if you refer this name, you will see automatically, uh, that logo will appear. So how you are going to refer this? You are going to refer this with help of what is the type, the category, standard colon account, standard colon address. Got me? So what I'm looking for? I'm looking for something like a download. Yeah. So where this icon belongs to? Icon belongs to action type. Action type. So action colon download. So if you see here, how I'm going to refer this? So it's a category, and icon name is download. Then how are you going to refer this? How are you going to refer this? We're going to refer this in this format. Icon name is okay. Icon name is, I just use here brand icon. Icon name equal to brand variant. Icon name equal to standard colon download. That's it. And follow this, all of you. Okay. I think it's not visible because of the color. I remove this, or I make this as neutral, which is a default one. Okay. Um, I think there is no component like uh, category. Okay, it's action category. I given the incorrect category here. I'm sorry. The reason why it is not appearing, I given the category as standard. It's action. It's not standard, right? You agree with me? It's not standard. It's a action attribute. Okay. You see here? You see here now? The icon you see here. So icon by default it takes the position left. Okay. But you can decide this whether icon should appear on the right side or left side with help of another attribute called icon position. With help of another attribute called icon position. The same thing. I use a as icon position as right. By default, it's left. When you see, the icon would appear at the right side. For me, if you like to have only the icons in the button, not the uh, labels, not the labels, then I just have to get rid of the label. That's it. Okay. So let's take a different logo icons. So I take like say close, right? The close button. So belongs to action. Okay. Close button belongs to action. So now I go here and action close. Okay. I don't need a icons. I mean, let's say destructive. Let's see how it looks like this, isn't it? Got me? Everyone is clear here? Everyone is clear here? Everyone is clear here? Right. I just go to utility now, utility category. So you see utility category like add user, right? Suppose I like to include a button called add user. So I say then I say icon name equal to utility colon add or add user. Utility colon add user. So like utility colon add user. What is wrong here? Okay, right. It's added, right? Let's follow this, all of you. Follow this. So I give the explanation over here. Right, so this will explain you. The notes will explain you, a brief information about button. Let's connect tomorrow and we'll continue other button element. So how to bring a group of buttons, how to display a button in the form of menu. Okay, so those things we'll see tomorrow. People are clear with this. Everyone is clear here. Okay then, see you all tomorrow. Take care. Okay, bye.